Hi everyone, Trina Phoenix here, and this is 3.1. And we just got done talking about Cupid and Eros and Psyche or Tammuz and the story of love and the story of losing the one you love and how we get brought down into the underworld. And through being brought down into the underworld, we lose our memory and we forget who we are. And that becomes the trap. And how that trap is how we get trapped in reincarnation and recycling, because we get trapped into karma and guilt, and we forget. We forget what we are, which is a divine spark of creation. And there can never be any fault in that. So through this journey of our amnesia, we forget who we are, and we give our power away to false constructs, beliefs, patterns, trauma. We give our power away to all of these things. And through that is how, that's the trap. The trap is to convince you that you are less than what you are. And that is, I believe, how the karma traps and the soul traps and all the false belief traps get you stuck into the loop, and you can't get out. And I think that's why so many see this as a prison planet, because for many it will be, because they're not awoke. And without consciousness and an awareness and a relationship with something more than just this matrix, with having a connection to the soul and spirit part of them, without that connection, they will just be recycled within the matrix. But many of us, the ones of you here, you're woke. So when you wake, you have a burning internal desire to know truth. And it's something you can't stop. It's from within you. And you love to know the truth. And sometimes the pursuit of truth is difficult, because you find out things that you're like, I can't believe this. So, within our journey into darkness, when we took upon the bodies that we now inhabit, part of that contract was that you would undergo amnesia, because the amnesia gives you free will. And free will is a gift to test your own self. So this is why we did it. We wanted to test the deepest part of our own being. Because if you're going to eventually return as a child of Creator, as a creator, don't you think that you would need to learn about all the dark parts of yourself, all the hidden parts of yourself, all the hidden parts of mind, all the hidden parts of the darkest parts and the densest parts of matter? Nothing is real until we feel it. So through this feeling and seeing all of this duality and matter, we learn at a different level. And through that gnosis, we learn what not to create, because we understand how it feels to feel the waves of that energy. So you understand it at a deep feeling part of you. And the feeling part of us is the magic part of us. The feeling part is the part that holds you back or sets you free within matter. Because either the energy of it will constrain you and break you down, or it will empower you and make you strong. And that's how it works. There's positive and negative. That's why they say there's only two energies on this planet. It's love and hate, or positive and negative. You could see it as the same way. And it's true, because everything here is working within polarity. And these polarities are everywhere and in everything in this construct. So within our polarity, we have light and we have dark. And within the polarity of this construct, we see light and we see dark. So it's going to be in this construct. So within, like we were talking on Steiger today about, what is all of this, and the brooms are standing up on end. It's like there is some shifting that's happening, and it's because of the people that are waking, and it really is making an effect. You guys are creating these waves of change and the favor and all of these things that we've been exploring, and now we're starting to connect astrally. All of this is building a bridge from heaven to earth, and I think this is why we came. So through this sharing and the seeking of truth and the exploration of new ideas, new foundations, new concepts, new potentials, and actually believing that they are possible, we will see miracles. Miracles. Ever since I was a little girl, the Lord told me, don't forget you came here to be like Jesus. And I was like, I understood what it meant. And it meant, like all of the things that we heard about this being of Jesus, the healing abilities, the way he didn't have a church, the way he just walked and he went from place to place, and all the things about him that he was teaching and all the miracles that he could do. He would say to me, he says, don't forget, this is, you came here to do this. And when you do this, other people will see it, and then they will believe, and then they will do this. It's always been, it's about believing. So he's like, you came here to be like Jesus, so you could do party tricks, so other people would remember that they too can do these same things. And through that, greater things than we will do. And it's through the amount of people that activate their true power, which is, it's innate. It was explained to me, this is nothing special. This is a part of your being. It's part of who you are. You just do not know. You just forgot. It's sleeping within you, but nonetheless, it's present. It is inside. So with this, it's time for us now to start connecting to the supernatural, superpower potentials that have been lying dormant within us. And most of that is going to come into awareness through your own imagination. So imagine big and see where your imagination will take you, because it is the key to freedom. It's the power of your imagination. Because if you can see it, you can be it. And if you can see it, you can do it. So it's a profound thing to start to dive into this awareness, because this is the hidden awareness of the divine feminine. It's the hidden gnosis that you receive when you gain serpent wisdom. These are all things that we've been told to run away from. Darkness, serpents, all this stuff. It's like, yeah, we have deep programs against these symbols, and these symbols are literally some of your most powerful tools within this reality, because you need to know what's happening within your subconscious mind. You need to know what's happening within the traumas that you've experienced, and how are they processing in your body? How are they running their cycles? What are they doing to you? These are things you need to have an awareness of, and these are the things that we've been taught not to ever look at. So with these new secrets of our own inner being discovered, we will start to see new secrets of how the entire cosmos is truly operating, and how we are a vital part of that. So with that, we're going to dive in to the Divine Sophia. And where were we? Oh, sugar and spice. Okay. So we were just going through Eros and Cupid and Tammuz, and how we forget who we are when we come into the physical world, and how it's a journey to get back up to heaven from our journey that we take down into the underworld. So I will read this really quick because I thought this was beautiful. May the warriors find peace within, that the wars of the nations end. Send the love and light into the earth, that the world may find complete rebirth. Let the sufferings of the nations end, that the healing of the earth begin. The clock is chiming. Yay. I got my grandfather clock fixed today. I'm so excited. Oh, it's the first time I've been able to hear it chime in a couple months. Oh. Okay, guys, get used to the chimes, because when I'm in here now, we're going to hear them. Because grandfather time is now fully operational. Yay. Okay, so stepping back from the big picture. Over the next 6 weeks, I continued to think about what we had learned. So far, first, I could see how the Great Mother had been splintered into 1,000 pieces, and how each aspect of the goddess that I was learning seemed how to reflect to a part of the whole. I reflected on the tales of Psyche and Eros, and Ishtar and Tammuz, and how both Psyche and Tammuz had forgotten their own divine origins when they were imprisoned in the world of shadows, which is here. I realized that this was a metaphor for each one of us who had forgotten our true identities as immortal souls. These tales were about rescuing some part of ourself that had fallen into forgetfulness in the land of shadows. And I realized that these stories had endured for thousands of centuries because they had the power to unlock a treasure chest of wisdom. If only I could penetrate them. I reflected on the wounded warriors, perhaps because I had known so many in my life. This was the hero archetype who suffers in silence because he has been conditioned to believe that he must be relentlessly stoic. Suppressing his feminine side, he buries his deeper emotions to gain victory in a win-lose dynamic that seeks to destroy the competition at all cost. He is relentless, unhealed, a warrior. Men have come to emulate this, but at what cost to the people who love them and to themselves? And what have these warriors sacrificed in their own hearts by adopting these models of self-righteous suffering? Their families, their health, their peace of mind. By going too far into the masculine polarity, we sacrifice our ability to live happy, emotionally loving lives. This is the path taken by many within the Jewish, Muslim, and Christian religions who have used their self-righteousness, aggressive stances to target, demonize, and vanquish their enemies. This also goes for women, because we do this too. I literally have seen past lifetimes where I have been a warrior and I have died for just cause. So this, like I said, when we speak of the man, we need to also know women have gone through this too. When we speak of the woman, we also need to understand a man has gone through this too. We truly are one and the same. We are just gendered in this existence. But true man is both. So we come from that. That's the immortal part of you. It's self-creating because it's creator, part of creator. That's why we're little gods and we can create. So this is the path. Yes, okay. Demonize and vanquish their enemies. And women do it too. Then I also thought about all the millions of women and children and families who have been casualties by this dominance, a model of fear and hardship, Even if a man was not abusive to his wife and children, he bore the emotional scars of the war inside. Not to mention the crippling loss of his body parts. Is human freedom worth fighting for? Of course it is. But to be a pawn in the quest for a corporate gain, control of money, or a religious ideology, these motives have been used by politicians, popes, and imams for centuries to justify their wars, all in the name of righteous glory and patriotism. I wondered how quickly these wars would be over if the people who decided them had been put on the front lines instead of their sons and daughters. After healing ceremony that afternoon, Shasta had asked each of us to make a list of our own battles and wars, as well as the ways in which our religious programming had contributed to the win-lose dynamics. While I could see this kind of black and white judgment in our governments and religions on the personal front, I wasn't sure what she was talking about. The women in this group all wanted to help the earth. Shasta had smiled tolerantly when I raised my hand in protest. Just consider the ways in which you are also committed to this win-lose dynamic in your own life, she said. The ways in which you are negatively competitive with others. Because you, too, have been programmed by the patriarchy. Maybe she had a point. I could think of a few examples where my desire to win had made me insensitive to others. Maybe this is what she meant. But isn't competition a good thing? Alex protested. I mean, sports are fun. We compete in baseball, football, and the Olympics. That's not bad, is it? Shasta, oops. Oh, shoot. Uh-oh, guys, I lost my part. Okay, here we go. Okay, Shasta looked serious. I am not speaking about friendly competition. That is healthy and fun. Friendly competition gives us a yardstick to learn discipline, goal setting, and excellence. But it does not work when we view the competition as the enemy. The real enemy that we must conquer lies within ourselves, not in our brother's backyard. As I turned this over in my mind, I tried to see the world with these new eyes. I finally realized that the source of most of our rivalries is this sense of jealous, negative competition. Women fight over men. Men kill over property and money and women. And the television often seems caught in an endless loop of extolling the virtues of deceit and betrayal, as if programming us to think that this is all normal. How many detective shows were there on television, all focusing on murder, violence, and the dominance model of heroes and villains? Children were being programmed from an early age to accept violence, aggression, and bullying as commonplace. No wonder the violence levels in schools have increased. We were teaching our children that this is normal. While I knew that the competition could be healthy and an outlet for the drive of personal excellence, it also fostered a belief in winners and losers, more than or less than. Behind it lay the fear of being judged for not being good enough. And that is a psychological malady of many cultures. I will never be strong enough, fast enough, pretty enough, skinny enough, smart enough, rich enough, famous enough. The question of the ego never ended. I began to see how the relentless perfectionism was so woven into our religious beliefs. Was I good enough to go to heaven? Was I worthy of God's love? If I don't follow the teachings of the church, is there something wrong with me? By extension, someone else? These judgments caused heartache division, and stopped us from feeling the joy of really being present in one another's lives. We live in a world of polarity, I realized, where we can find heaven or hell at our doorstep at any given moment. This is truth. We create our reality, and we can have heaven or hell any moment. So, the power of what we choose to believe and practice and to project out into the world to others ultimately comes back to us 100-fold. As we sow, so do we reap. I realized then that we could make of our cultures anything we chose, including creating heaven on earth. But we had to realize that the dominated model that we have been living for so long will never lead us out of conflict. The tools that can free us from this dualistic mindset cannot be crafted from the same paradigms that imprisoned us in the first place. We must make a different kind of choice if we are to ever become the illumined human that is our actual true calling. Chapter 13 is Jesus and the Lost Gospels. Let him who seeks not cease from seeking until he finds. And when he finds, he will be turned around. And when he is turned around, he will marvel. And he shall reign over it all. The Gospel of Thomas 2:1-7. So we will begin with that in the Lost Gospels of Jesus. I love you guys all. This is again talking about how we are already born perfect. We've dove down into dense, deep, dark matter, and we've come through many layers and dimensions to get into this dimension. So the return home is returning through the dimensions and through yourself. And those gates that you have to go through, those are your own gates. And know you have everything that you need to pass through every single one. It's about your belief in yourself and the belief in the power that is in you and all of the things that you've done. And to dive down at this time in this reality to be a positive force and a way shower and a light bearer in these times of utter transition and darkness took a lot of courage. So pat yourself on the back, because just to be here and hold this awareness, you're in actuality, you're changing the world. Just by knowing what you know and being a part of this group, because this group, the seekers, the mystics, and we're the seed planters of high-level consciousness into a matrix of low-level density. So plant away. And I love you guys, and I'm so glad to be a part of this with you. So let's bring forth some positive change. Use your imagination. Open the gates to the higher realms that you come from. And through that, grasp those visions and bring them here. So I love you all. Namaste. The light within me loves and acknowledges and sees the light within you. I'll see you soon. Bye.